Welcome to Ditch the Classroom. This is your host, Ariana Vernier, and I'm so excited that you're here. I'm a teacher turned business coach who is so passionate about helping fellow mamas like you ditch the classroom and pursue your big, hairy, scary dreams. Imagine a life where you could still impact the world, but do so while following your passions and spending more time with your babies. In Ditch the Classroom, we'll explore ways you can do just that. Myself, guest experts, and amazing teachers who have also built a successful business will share tools, tips, and resources to help you ditch the classroom too. Are you ready? Here we go. Before we hop into today's episode, I had to let you in on something special I created just for you. If you've been wondering if freelancing or virtual assistance is right for you and just want to get your feet wet to see if it's a good fit, then you need my Ditch the Classroom toolkit. This toolkit comes with 2 video modules to help you figure out what services you want to offer, as well as how to package your services in a way that will help you attract clients quickly and replace your income faster. There are also 2 special bonuses included. Bonus number 1 is the Set Your Prices video, so you can take the guesswork out of what to charge. Bonus number 2 is the Top 8 Places to Find Paying Clients guide. Right now, you can grab the Ditch the Classroom toolkit and both bonuses for a steal of a price, only $27. But hurry up, because this amazing discounted price won't last long. You can grab your spot at arianavernier.com/ditch-the-classroom or find the link in the show notes. All right, let's get to the show. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Ditch the Classroom podcast. I think I say this every time we have a special guest, but this guest is dear to my heart because she's a sweet, sweet friend. And so I'm very happy to welcome Emily Anderson. She's a social media and branding strategist. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about what a social media manager is, what they do for their clients, and also how you can use social media for your brand and to get your voice out there. So welcome, Emily. I'm so excited to have you.
Hello. Thank you so much. You are so sweet, Ariana. I am so blessed to be here and just honored. Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's start off with just sharing a little about yourself and how you got into this world of entrepreneurship.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Emily. I am a social media manager and branding strategist, as Ariana said. I did not come into this profession in the traditional sense. So my professional career has largely consisted of military service and working within healthcare. So I've served in the Army National Guard for 13 years and I've worked in healthcare for 11. I've always had a servant heart. That's just who I am to my absolute core of my being. And medicine to me was the perfect way to satisfy that relentless curiosity, my knack for understanding the intricacies of human anatomy and physiology, and then that desire to serve as many human beings in this life as possible. As I've gotten older, I've realized that my heart is just drawn more and more towards serving others. You know, it's my purpose. However, when COVID-19 turned life as we know it upside down, I was laid off, as so many others were, and really found myself in a dark place. Medicine is all I've known in my professional career. It was where I thought I was meant to serve. So I began to desperately just ask God, where do you want me to serve? So that was in November. Here I am now serving women around the world in a completely different manner than I ever would have imagined. I began as a virtual assistant and learned my way around the digital workspace. And then I really gave myself permission to niche down into social media management because I am so passionate about learning people's stories. I don't want to know others superficially. I personally can't serve you if I only know the outermost layer of you. I really thrive in building relationships with others and giving them a voice that they haven't been able to unleash for themselves. So I fell into social media management and branding strategy and have realized that this is where I'm meant to be in this season to serve women. Sometimes I have to pinch myself because it just doesn't seem like real life, but here I am and I'm so thankful.
You are just a badass. Like, I don't even have words. I mean, being in the military, being a nurse is just so outside of my comfort zone. So you're amazing.
Oh,
You're
thank you.
So, can you tell us a little bit about what is a social media manager? What do they do for their clients?
Yeah, great question. So, at face value, most people assume that a social media manager just plays on their phone all day, walking around town, taking cute pictures, and throwing in a few hashtags. To be completely honest, that's what I thought before getting into the digital workspace. However, there is so much more to this role. So, social media managers strategically plan your brand's content. And I really want to emphasize strategically. Every piece of content on your social handles should serve a specific purpose. And social media managers strategically release that content on your platforms in order to serve that purpose. So this involves source research, hashtag research, competitor analysis, market research. The list could really go on, but it's super important to understand that the core of social media management is very research and strategy heavy in order to produce the pretty well-branded content that you see on any big name social platform. Once social medias have conducted the research and built the strategy, then the work continues through content scheduling and community management, really engaging with your existing audience, and then networking to reach out and find out where other potential clients could be living, performing analytics, copywriting, staying up to date on trends, and really incorporating those into your content calendar. So there are so many things that most business owners wouldn't even think of that are really involved in that strategy asset.
Yeah, so a social media manager, their whole role is to do the research behind the brand and figure out how to connect with that brand's ideal clients and get them to become loyal customers. So you're just all about figuring out how to draw in those new loyal fans, basically.
Absolutely.
Yep. So with having to draw in new people all the time, what is the importance of branding strategy on social media platforms?
Yeah. So I love this question. This is really my bread and butter because I understand that branding strategy is absolute key. If you come into the world of social media without knowing what your brand story is, you're really setting yourself up for failure. So many times I see entrepreneurs jump into the social media space to market their brand, which they absolutely should be, but they do it without truly understanding who their brand is. And if you're confused about what your brand stands for, what your brand's purpose is, then your potential consumers are going to be confused, and confused customers are not loyal customers. So I like to remind clients that it is in our human nature to be drawn to stories. If you think about it, storytelling was the only way that we passed information from one generation to the next for the longest time. So an appreciation for stories is really built into our DNA. When we hear stories, we just listen more intently. We always want to hear what the next step is. We want to hear the end of the story. And honestly, neuroscience has proven that we're 22 times more likely to remember story-based information. So that, in a nutshell, is the importance of branding strategy. Branding strategy is all about combining key elements and crafting your brand story.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think of branding as just like the visual side, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than a logo and some colors. It's about, like you said, your story behind the business, why you've created this, who you serve, how you help them. It's all tied together, and the brand colors and the logo, that comes from the story.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that the logo and your tagline, that's the sexy part of branding, right? And I just like to remind clients we've really got to dig in and do the dirty work before we can expose the sexy parts of branding.
Yep, agreed. So what are the 4 pillars of creating your brand?
Yeah. So I really like to start off with these. There are loads more that we could get into, which I am absolutely willing to share at another time. But I really want to focus on the first four. So, number one is developing your internal brand. And your internal brand, I really want you to think about your mission statement. So, what is your purpose? What is your mission? What is the vision that you have for your brand? And what is your brand's set of values? What do you believe in? And this is going to be paramount in building those connections with your customers and turning them into loyal customers. So, number one, developing your internal brand. Number two is really going to be defining your target audience. So, demographics, where do they live? What do they do? Psychographics, who do they already buy from? Why are they loyal to the brands that they choose? Then we want to look at their challenges. What challenges exist in their life? And how are you going to add value and help them overcome those challenges? And that kind of goes hand in hand with their pain points. And then we really want to tug on their emotions. Understanding these people as intimately as you can is going to allow you to reach into that emotional aspect and keep them coming back for more. It allows us to be empathetic and just genuinely connect with them. So often we see a business as just a transactional relationship, but studies have shown that customers are going to be more loyal to a brand if they have that genuine connection. Mm-hmm. So number two is defining that target audience. Number three is your market landscape. And really, I want you to think about what group of competitors do you have? Who do they serve? What is that brand's purpose? And how are you different? So basically, what does your audience already have access to? Because we don't want to offer them the same exact thing. By offering the same thing that's already out there, you're just adding to market noise, which is going to lead to confusion. And like we said earlier, confused customers will not be loyal customers. And that leads to number four. And number four is our market position. So we know who our audience is, we know our competitors, and we understand the market landscape. In the market position, we want to look for the gaps and opportunities in the market where we can fill the void with something that our consumers don't already have. So how can we turn their heads? How can we pull them in and turn them into lifelong followers? And how are we ultimately going to make them choose our brand over others?
Yeah, I think that when you're in a field where there's a little bit more of that competition, really niching down and getting specific in who you serve, really how you help them that's different than others, that's what's going to set you apart. Maybe your services are kind of similar, but who you actually serve with those services, I think, is really important to consider.
Oh, 100%. I mean, intimately knowing who you want to serve and provide for is absolute key. And once you figure that out, really, I mean, everything else falls into place.
Yeah, agreed. So how can you use social media to communicate that brand story?
Yeah, so this is something that I find really interesting, especially working in a digital space where you're working with people of, all different age groups and socioeconomic statuses and just general life background. For our, being 30 years old, there's so many things that I've learned about social media. And I've really had to open my eyes and kind of learned from the younger generation because social media is their bread and butter and they do it so well. So being open to learning from others who really understand this space and understanding that social media isn't just, still pictures. You can communicate with your audience through live videos or video posts, hosting virtual masterclasses, podcasts, creating Facebook communities built for a specific cause. TikToks are more popular than ever. They're trending so well. And it's really because, we've seen the ability to tell your story in a short period of time through appealing, virtual aspects and video aspects. Um, Same thing with Instagram Reels and Snapchat. So many of these platforms you don't even think about marketing on, but Snapchat has released marketing features, and so I predict really seeing a rise in those aspects. Instagram Shop has allowed for product-based businesses to allow their followers instant access to their products. So there are so many different aspects of social media that go beyond, the pretty pictures and just the flawless image. People really want to know who you are, who your brand is genuinely, and then they want that instant access. If you're selling a product and you're doing a great job marketing, well, why not incorporate that into your Instagram account so that your followers don't have the opportunity to click away from your Instagram, go to your website. The more and more that we draw them away from the product into, a sales funnel, the more opportunities they have to say no. So really incorporating any aspect of social media that we can use to bring them directly to our products and services.
Yeah, I think there's still so many businesses out there that are not on social media. And just thinking about that, the world still needs so many social media managers because these businesses are not reaching the largest audience that they can, and they need help doing that. So, with that in mind, how do these businesses, entrepreneurs know when it's time to invest in either a social media manager or a social media strategist?
Yeah. So social media is, it's in this age, you have to have a social media presence. If you
Agreed.
want to build a sustainable business, you just have to. And I think for a lot of us, that's a hard pill to swallow. Maybe social media isn't where you're comfortable, and that's okay. Really being self aware and saying, you know what, this isn't my forte. I need to outsource. So I would say, one, if you're uncomfortable and you just are overwhelmed by learning the ins and outs of social media and where and how to do that, I would say it's time for you to look at outsourcing, even if it's just for a VIP social media strategy session to really get a plan set in place and then give you the tools to schedule your own content, engage with your own audience. I think that a lot of entrepreneurs really just need to get over that hill of understanding the strategy and the plan. So I would say if you are uncomfortable and overwhelmed with the idea of social media, one, two, if you're comfortable with social media, but sitting down and taking the time is causing you to lose traction with your business, right? So if you understand it, however, you don't have the time to dedicate to it and then allow it to drop to the wayside, you're really doing yourself and your business and your customers a disservice. Mm-hmm. So I would say if you're overwhelmed and unsure, or if you simply don't have the capacity to manage your social media in a way that is going to serve your clients, serve your business, and ultimately serve you.
Yeah, because with social media, the key is consistency. You don't want to post, once a month or even once a week. You need to have that consistency so people are always knowing when to expect new content from you and be there to just soak it all in, and then always also having that call to action to then go view your products or services. I think that's really, really key.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I mean, the last thing that I want to do is take an entrepreneur out of their zone of genius, right? Yep. You have created a business for a specific reason. You are serving consumers in a specific capacity. And so the last thing that I want to do is take you out of that arena. I really want to allow you the space to continue serving in that capacity, but also using social media to gain as much traction and as big of an audience as possible so that you can serve as many as possible.
Yep, definitely. So I think this has all been so helpful for people who are not only just interested in social media management themselves, but also for those who need it to expand their businesses. I have so many teachers listening with side hustles, or even have already left the classroom and have their own businesses and just need that social media management, like help on their, just for them. So this has been really helpful, and I really appreciate you coming on to share all of this with us.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm so honored. It's a pleasure.
So this is a question that I love to ask on each and every episode, and it's, if someone wanted to start their digital classroom journey, but they just felt too overwhelmed, what would you tell them?
Yeah, so the first thing I would say is invest in a course, right? When I got started in this journey, I had no idea what I was doing. I knew that I wanted to serve women in a capacity virtually, right? Because of COVID-19, that's where our lives have gone. But I didn't know where to begin. So I would highly, highly, highly recommend researching on your own, finding a course that speaks to you, that is going to teach you the ins and outs of your business, whether that's you want to get into coaching or general VA services or, podcast editing. So many different courses out there. I'm telling you, whatever specialty you want to go into, there's a course for it. And that's really where I would begin, because you don't have to figure it all out on your own. There are people out there who have done this before you and who are willing and able to show you the ins and outs of how to create a successful business in your zone of genius.
Yep, definitely. Do you have any resources that you would like to share with my listeners?
Yes, absolutely. So I've created a course called Social Media Management 101. I launched the beta course about 2 months ago, and I will be relaunching the full course starting July 1st. And I am so excited to give all entrepreneurs, specifically female entrepreneurs, a quick down and dirty course that is, doesn't contain any of the fluff or extras, to really build a social media presence on their own. Or, maybe you're interested in hiring a social media manager and you want them to learn specific skills for that area. This is the course that you want to bring them to. We're going to go over everything that we've talked about today, but on such a deeper level. So really building that brand voice and how to communicate that through copywriting and, graphics and all of the ins and outs of scheduling content, creating content, doing your hashtag research, platforms that you can use to do market research and learn what your competitors are doing and how you can really fill those voids. So we're going to go over everything and anything that you can imagine to build a profitable social media management business or adequately serve clients with social media.
That sounds amazing. I will have the link in the show notes for y'all listening to make sure you get signed up for that if you're interested. Where can people connect with you, Emily? Where can they become your best friend, learn more about you, and all the things?
Yes. So first and foremost, I'm all about making all of the virtual best friends. And once COVID is over, hopefully connecting with people in real life. So I would love to have you come over to Instagram. I am at social_with_Emily. And even if you aren't looking for social media or branding strategy services, I really like to be involved with my audience and just be the biggest cheerleader that I can for you as you go on your entrepreneurial journey. So I would love to meet you. I would love to learn what you're doing and how I can serve you, whether that's through social media management tips, or, just being your prayer warrior and lifting you up in whatever space that you are in.
And you're an awesome prayer warrior. I appreciate you so much, having you as part of my support system.
Oh, ditto. You are amazing.
What about your website?
Yeah, so my website is milkshake.com/Emily Kadak. So that's Emily Kadak. The link is in my Instagram bio, and come on over and see everything that I have to offer. You'll see a lot of links for freebies and tips and tricks that I have for you. If you aren't really into the Instagram space, you can come over to my website and watch tutorials and get some free templates and stuff like that.
Perfect. And again, I'll have that link in the show notes for those of you listening who are interested. Well, thank you so much, Emily, again, for coming on today. You have no idea how much I appreciate you sharing all of this with my listeners, and I can't wait for them to hear all of the amazing wisdom that you shared with us around social media.
Oh, thank you so much, Ariana. You are just such a light, and I absolutely adore you. I'm so glad we met, and I'm so excited to see all of the success that you achieve.
Thank you. All right, y'all, we will see you on next week's episode. Make sure to go show Emily some love. Thank her for coming on. If you're loving the show, make sure you leave a review wherever you're listening, and we will see you next episode. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. Before you go, make sure you take a minute to subscribe to the show, leave a rating and review, and check out the show notes for a free gift to help you ditch the classroom. If you loved today's episode, can you help me share the message by taking a screenshot, tagging me on Instagram @ariana.vernier, and sharing it with your friends so we can help more mamas ditch the classroom and follow their dreams. Until next week, y'all, keep following the dreams that were placed in your heart so you too can ditch the classroom.